there, my name is Jeffrey, and today is another session of one of our APLCasts here at the Aurora Public Library. Today I'm going to be talking about the best-selling book, American Gun, A History of the U.S. in 10 Firearms by Chris Kyle. Kyle is the author of another book called American Sniper, which is his autobiography and goes into details about his time as a Navy SEAL sniper. Tragically, American Gun comes out a few months after Kyle was murdered on a gun range. I chose to read this book because I watch Pawn Stars on the History Channel, and they are always buying older guns, and I wanted to learn more of the history behind some of the guns that I see on the show. There are a few guns in this book that you occasionally see on the show. Once I started reading it, though, it was interesting to see how much of America's history is shaped by guns. Kyle himself states, perhaps more than any other nation in the world, the history of the United States has been shaped by the gun. The 10 guns that Kyle chooses to write about are ones that he thinks were most important to American history and gun history. Some of the guns that Kyle writes about are the American Long Rifle, aka the Kentucky Long Rifle, the Spencer Repeater, Colt 45, also known as 38 Special, the Winchester Rifle, and Tommy Gun, just to name a few. Along with the history of the gun, he mixes in stories about the guns and how they affected history in the United States. For example, Kyle writes how the American Long Rifle helped turn the tide of the War of Independence for the Americans. Battles during this war were based on strategy and the precise and efficient movement of troops on the battlefield. To do this, you needed excellent field officers to lead your troops. With the invention of the long rifle, a gun only the Americans had, snipers were able to pick off these field officers from a distance, due to advances in technology, allowing the guns to be more accurate over a greater distance compared to what the British had. With the loss of crucial leadership on the battlefield by these snipers, Britain lost key battles that helped turn the tide of the war for the Americans. These kinds of stories are what I found most enjoyable about this book. I am not a gun person or a gun aficionado, but I still enjoy this book. I will say parts of the book that I found that dragged on were when Kyle extensively talked about the guns themselves. If you're a gun aficionado or historian, you might really enjoy this. Since I didn't know the first thing about guns and the way they work, I was less interested in this aspect. If you're a fan of gun history, American history, or military history, then you will enjoy this book. Or if you're just looking for a change of pace by reading a non-fiction book, then I recommend you check out American Gun because it's a quick, easy, enjoyable read.